Hi, this is Scott Bowman, and I am the creator behind ideaBRICKworks. And today I thought what I'd do is do a review build of the International Space Station. And so I'm going to actually do it from the open to the, and then do a time lapse while the build, maybe point out some interesting things about as I do it. Of course, it's a ideas kit. So what are some of my expectations? I think one, it's going to be awesome. I think in general, the idea sets really set the bar high. I'm expecting printed brick. It'll be interesting to see what is printed and if there are any stickers involved in it. To date, there haven't been stickers in an idea set, although I have my tweezers just in case. Hopefully I'll set them aside and not need to use them. So the first thing though is I did order it in time to get the patch, and so I thought I'd show you how I use the patches. But here's the patch. It's very fun. It's going to be an exclusive, I'm sure. I understand several people went to get their ISS and weren't able to get the patch, so I ordered it on the first morning that it was available on February 1st. I thought I'd show you how I'm going to display it. I did this too. I got the patch for the LEM, the moon lander, and I thought this was kind of a fun way to be able to display it. So we'll leave that off. Look at how I can center it. And there we go. The 20th anniversary of the International Space Station. You know, I can remember the shuttle and the promise that the shuttle started to display, or did display, during its lifetime. But one of its great accomplishments besides the Hubble space satellite or space telescope is building the International Space Station. Frankly, it would not have been able to be built without that kind of heavy lift ability and that kind of staging area where the astronauts could stay and they could be in the shuttle, but then be able to service. And especially after the Soviet space station was abandoned, and ultimately was brought into the atmosphere and burned up. This really became our crux of our presence in space, and it's really fascinating to watch. I think I'm learning a whole new appreciation of the International Space Station. Let's just put it that way. So I did slit the box open, but in general, and I do remember a survey on this once, but I like the more, I guess, classier presentation that you get with an ideas set, so that it's in a slotted box. The box is black, so you can use the box as a place to hold brick, and then to be able to work on it. So I like that presentation. I like it. It feels more like a high quality scale model, right? So then on to the bags. So it looks like 6 bags. And then, of course, the brick separator. Gotta have the brick separator. And the instruction book. Don't need to see that. So the books are always impressive. The nice thing that I like about Lego instructions now are, especially in idea sets, is that it does go through, it gives you history in multiple languages. Oh, this is fun. I just noticed this, that they're showing all the different countries, and of course there is Denmark. So definitely Denmark, as being part of the European Space Agency, has a hand in it as well. The fan designer, Christophe Rouge, I assume that's Rouge. 10 years of idea sets. And this is talking about the kind of where ideas has been with space. We had the Saturn V, and we had the Mars Curiosity rover, and the women of NASA. So, nice presentation, obviously. They do a great job. They get through all the, okay, so here we get into the builds. I'll tell you, just the buzz on the street is that the stand isn't as good, and so a lot of people have been redesigning the stand, so we'll look into that as far as I start building. Okay, so with that, I'll start building and do a time lapse, and then as I see things that I think are interesting, I will chime in with that. Maybe we'll pause the time lapse a little bit and kind of tell you what I'm starting to see about this. I am kind of excited about all the different accessories, quote unquote. In other words, how do we get to the space station on a regular basis? Right now, it's the Soyuz capsule. I do know they've got a shuttle, which again, the shuttle fleet has been grounded, and we are now into the SLS, or the space launch system. And we've got SpaceX and Boeing competing to take astronauts as to the space station and back. So, we'll see a change there. Boeing had a setback recently. SpaceX, I think maybe in Q2 of this year, is going to actually launch the first astronauts that will be on the crewed mission. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll get started. Okay, so it was an awesome build. It's really got me fired up now. I really want to learn more about the International Space Station. At this point, because of the Saturn V STEM Moonshot project, I know quite a bit about the Saturn V. Because of a good friend, Joe Chambers, I know a lot more about Skylab. The community is full of people who just love space, love science. So I'm really kind of fired up to learn more about this. In fact, who knows? This might be my next big STEM event, is to build the International Space Station. Who knows? We'll have to see. Anyway, love the printed brick. Again, no stickers. That was great. I really like I kind of agree, the stand's a little mundane, I guess might be the best term for it. So I really like the accessories. I'm going to, again, spend a little more time researching this just so that I can understand what all these things are. When we're doing Star Wars or kind of science fiction space, we always talk about greeble. Well, you know, this isn't greeble. Everything that's on the space station is there for a reason. You know, they show a lot of, they can't show in this scale, but lots of communication satellites. Well, they've got to have backups to backups to backups. Sometimes the communication is for different purposes. You know, they've got the docking modules where on the backside, so this is where quite a few of the different capsules connect and go on to the backside. And so, you know, there's a lot going on the space station, and it's been, certainly hasn't been continuously occupied for 20 years, but it's been significant. And we've had, you know, we really have not had too many problems. There is some fuel. There's the ability of the space station to increase and decrease its orbit, mostly to avoid space junk. It is in low Earth orbit, which means it's in decay, so it does need some power in order to lift it to maintain its attitude. So that's one of the supplies that are brought up by the cargo vessels that are just crammed with all sorts of material they need. Also, by the way, when they get them returned, they'll have science experiments, trash, you know, all the things that aren't needed, or like I just read a fun article about the batteries that they've just been changing. There have been a couple of pretty long spacewalks where they've been replacing some batteries, and I think that one of those batteries they were just looking at has been in space and in service for like 16 years. It's one of the longest items that they've been able to bring back. So they're learning a lot about space, you know, small debris, things that have impacted it over those years. So again, you can learn even stuff from the trash, right? So this is a great model. I'm gonna refresh a couple of things just to you know, let you know what some of the things I liked. One is the printed brick. There's actually a couple of different kinds. There's the kind that is the grabber, but then there's actually some 1x4s as well that should be really useful if you are building space type things. It does have the small astronauts. I've got one, you know, the extra I've got sitting on there. The Canadian arm that is there. There's a printed brick, which is a, I think it's a hatch basically, and that's one of the ways that the, through an airlock, that the astronauts can go out for the spacewalks, that type of thing. And some of the other unusual bricks. This one is new as well. It's this connector. It's kind of similar to these grabbers or where you have on the post, like on the Canadian arm. That's a new piece, and so far it's got the dark blue, gray, and the white. What else is new? Oh, I talk a little bit about that. It's got the pop cans here. You can actually, there's one that is exposed. It's a little hard to see though. It's on the back side in here. So there's some pretty cool elements to it. And then of course it's got the different modules that come to the space station. I'm pretty sure this is the Dragon. I'm pretty sure this is the, it's not the Cygnus, because I know that there's a different cargo craft, but I think this is the Boeing. So again, Boeing and SpaceX are going to be taking astronauts to the space station. There's hopefully the Dragon actually comes in Q2 of this year, so the Boeing had a setback with some software issues, which is not good for Boeing, especially with the 737 MAX issues. It's got the Soyuz capsules. I'm counting 4 being shown on there. There's usually one that's a lifeboat, and then for each crew, each crew has a module that then they both arrive and then leave, and then the lifeboat is changed every so often so that it's always up to date, ready to go. And again, I want to learn more. Maybe there are 2 lifeboats because I think there's only, for extended periods, there's only 3 astronauts on the space station at a time, but then during certain events or certain activities, and crew transitions, there can be upwards of 6 or more. So again, I think there's a lot of fun aspects to this. I'm looking forward to learning more, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look at my website, ideaBRICKworks.com, Facebook, ideaBRICKworks, and Etsy if you'd like to buy some of my, like my Micro Saturn V, some of the other builds. And I look forward to more videos and sharing with you. Thank you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate a like. To learn more about what ideaBRICKworks does, make sure and subscribe to this channel.